Hey guys, this is a clip of me on the Cash Flow Kings with Ryan Dengler and Fiscal Philosophy. We cover the great Kenny coming into the Kemmer Discord after Misty's latest collapse and just schooling him like a disappointed parent. If anyone is a friend of Kenny, please let him know I'd love to chat with him. Enjoy!
All right, I think it's time. I think it's time to discuss the topic of the video. I didn't anticipate it to take this long. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
We gotta respect a KKR enthusiast, but I think we should do a little intro for our special guest.
Yeah.
The reason we know how to use margin because we know how to use margin. Because you don't know how to use margin, well, don't put it on us. Don't even ask us question. That's like you are an idiot. I just exploded.
Now, Cody, it's a very exciting time to be invested in this saga. It's one that many people have been waiting for. One could say. Cody, what have we missed recently? What for people who haven't been paying attention to the Wii Khmer saga? What's happened lately?
What's up, high yield dividend warriors?
Oh, hello, how you, Dibadend? Well, now, Cody, I know that you get all the girl. You put a hot girl in the room with the big breasts and the big hip. What do you look for? Oh, by the way, it's after hours, everybody. So that means we have to debut the new after hours background. There we go. That means anything. You could say anything unfiltered.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Just like in the second Indiana Jones movie, that song, Anything Goes.
So, Cody, you sent me a clip of Thursday's show and told me to pull up to the 1 minute 40-second mark. Now, what specifically should we be expecting as I pull this up?
Yeah, so I think this is quite the intriguing week, right? Because we all knew this week would be coming, right? Like, their bread and butter investment, Misty, paying out 150% dividend yield. That's obviously very sustainable.
Right.
Absolutely no risk.
Nothing could
go down. And they were just stockpiling more and more shares of Misty. And to be fair,
Really too bad.
Yeah, to be fair, Misty had been doing very well. Like, you guys know I make videos about Misty. The amount of hate comments were getting more and more like, oh my gosh, you're such an idiot. Misty,
You're a regard.
Right. I'm an idiot for thinking 150% yield is not sustainable. But
It's funny because I was even thinking, man, like, what a world we live in where this guy, even though like a lot of stuff I bought in 2024 has done well, this guy clearly is probably doing 3 or 4 times better than I am over this period of time. What a world we live in.
What a world we live in, but that's not anymore.
Well, how those fortunes can change so quickly.
Oh, it's really too bad with only a 3% correction in the S&P. That's
Right.
really too bad.
I think that's what's so amazing is that, a lot of people put this as like a foundational base in their portfolio. They took out margin. They took out loans against their house to buy
Bad.
those
That's
Misty.
horrible. I'd wish that on nobody.
And it's like, we've had a small blimp in the market.
Yeah.
Misty is down 27% in the last month. Like, can you imagine actually trying, like, imagine you're actually in retirement, right?
That's funny.
You look at your portfolio.
It doesn't matter the share price as long as they get their dividend, right?
Yeah, free money.
Right. NAV erosion is a myth,
Hey, NAV erosion, cap erosion, who give a flying fuck about that shit, right?
But, okay, so, you guys know what happened with Misty this last week. It got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that like finance guy.
Many people got margin called. There's apparently some people have been margin called every single week of 2025, which is
Impressive.
absurd.
It's almost harder not to get margin called than do that.
I don't know why you can't just invest without using margin, but for a lot of these people, it's like a prerequisite in order.
Well, when you don't make that much money and want to appeal that you do,
It's maximum greed because they think that they literally look at it as if Schwab charges me or Robinhood charges me 8%, let's call it, for margin, and the yield on this says it's 100%. That's 92% profit. Why wouldn't I take margin?
why wouldn't
That's really?
It'd be stupid not to.
That's
Right.
it's the entire extent of their analysis. Essentially, is the 100% is bigger than 8 or 9%, so I'm obviously making a huge profit if I just go into margin on this.
And I've heard several times on their live streams, they're like, just invest in the ETF that's giving the highest yield, as if like investing was that easy. Or the only research and methodology that you need to do is just filter by the highest dividend yield.
So I've visited the Discord over there, and I even saw some guy. I think he's newer, but he's talking about I want to put together a model of what the returns could be with 92% yield degrading by 2.5% every year, with 40% taken out every month, and then 60% reinvested, so I can show my friends and family how to start their investing. And I'm like, bro, in what world do you think you're going to get a 90+% distribution sustainably that's only going to decay at 2.5% a year? That's never, like, if investing was that easy, you would run laps around Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett in like 4 or 5 years with like $100,000 or something.
Well, Fiscal, here's another thing, is that these guys truly think that they've unlocked like this. What they usually leave me in the comments is that the Warren Buffetts, the Peter Lynch's, they have the old way of investing. This is the new way.
It's the new wave. There's so many high yield dividend warriors. Warren Betty don't want to go into ANZY, NVDY. He don't want to go into these because it's going to be almost too good. If he buy it, he's going to buy too much, and then
it's like you can if do any of them own a calculator because you can do the math of like starting with as Kabir I think his original starting account size was somewhere in the neighborhood of 100K. Like it might have been 80, it might have been something, but like let's just for the sake of argument say it was 100K. Like put in that that 90 or 100% yield that you think is just pure profit that you're making, and run that calculation for like 10 years fully reinvested, and it balloons so big that it's literally it's impossible for it to work.
And he's getting taxed like this on unqualified. Dude, he's going to be getting fucked harder than his wife.
No, because so much of it's just return of capital. If they can't, through their options premium, maintain that on paper, that sticker price, that high yield that they like to show off on their prospectus, they just draw down the cash in the fund, which is why you have the NAV erosion, or part of why you have the NAV erosion. They're basically, people are putting their money in, and then if the premiums don't generate the amount of income they would take to still have a high yield, they just give their own cash back to them.
Well, that's where they get these ridiculous, expectations from, right? Many of them think, oh, I'm going to get $83,000 a month in passive income, right? That adds up to $1 million a year. And they've said several times, like, oh man, we're going to be making more money than NBA players, NFL players. I'm like,
well, you go to the club and you see LeBron James get all the girl, but you have the weird Asian guy in the corner with his bag of Doritos, and
that's not me. That's not me.
That's not me. Totally not me. I would pay to see him in a social setting. I've seen him before, like he was on camera when the NASDAQ did the bell opening, and they had somebody invited him. That's tragic, but
I think the root of their problem is that they invest in not necessarily fundamentals, but it's more based on belief. So they're like,
absolutely, suspend the belief.
Oh, absolutely. Right? They have to suspend the belief, right? Yeah. So it's the more and more I believe in this, it somehow is going to come true.
Yeah, they really do think that that your belief in it working is important to it working.
Or if you pray every night, you say you take a vitamin.
About how they don't want they'll say they don't want an echo chamber, but they also don't want people coming in here saying why yield max is a failure.
Right. So you know what? I think I'm going to start some devil magic, and I'm going to sell my soul to the devil so yield max goes to zero, or just it can be oblivion.
I mean, you don't have market correction on it eventually.
I know that's the view.
It got pretty close to being annihilated this week, but I still have people in my comments saying, "Oh, just you watch! Like we're actually
3% on a 3% dip. Imagine 2022 levels." I would sell my soul for it.
The funds themselves probably won't go to zero, but Khmer could because of the margin.
Well, he's going to flee the country. He's getting
ignore the phone call.
Yeah. Until the repo man comes to his house and takes away his wife's bags. That's all funny.
Repossess her implants and stuff.
And it's like, okay, this is, it's not like they're putting a core foundational piece in the SPY or the triple Qs. They're literally putting it in one of the most volatile assets in MicroStrategy. I don't know if you guys know the business model.
Yeah, they buy Bitcoin on leverage. Yeah.
Right. Every time I hear it, I'm like, how is this not a Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme?
It's the stupidest, most regarded thing I've ever heard. We're very regarded.
Right. So
do you want to play this video?
Yeah. Let me just give some context. So this is a video from 2 nights ago when Misty was getting completely destroyed. So his portfolio, I think, was closer to $100,000 at the start of the week. I mean, to see it go from 100 to 57K to have all these margin calls, that's pretty tough. And a lot of these loyal followers in his Discord probably also got burns, right? They're in here, and so what you're going to see is, you guys obviously know Kemmer's the type to ban anybody who disagrees with him.
Not pick him.
But I'll say this is probably the first time that I've ever actually heard him not be confident in his trading strategy.
Well, I don't know. I know. I mean, imagine it taking this much to humble somebody.
And the way that it happens is there's apparently this guy that taught Kemmer in the beginning. I guess his name is Kenny.
Oh, I didn't get this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Kenny will jump in here, and you'll watch how Kemmer actually listens to him. This is the first time I've ever seen this, so I thought we could react to this together.
Yeah, is Kenny he's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi? He's kind of like the Qui-Gon Winn or whatever the guy's name is. Qui-Gon Jinn, yeah.
You're killing all the Star Wars fans in the chat.
I just rewatched Revenge of the Sith the other day. All right, let's get into it.
A month. In 2 years. It's just impossible. I don't know, except somebody do the math and tell me how is it possible.
Hey, Khmer.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny.
Hey, so I see you're falling back into the same thing that you was into a year ago.
Oh my God, Kenny! Hold
Yeah.
on.
Admiration.
You and I haven't talked in a while. We missed you, bro.
Yeah, the last time me and you talked was about margin, and we're talking about margin again.
Yeah.
You can't say that 50% is you shouldn't use if you don't use 50%. You just have to use it responsibly.
Yeah.
And if you want to use more than 50% margin, then you're trying to get a free lunch.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to get a free lunch, one day somebody's going to come for the payment.
Yep.
Meaning the market is going to come back for the payment. So I'm not telling you that 80% is the margin, 100% it is. But if you're using margin, you're using leverage. That means if you get 2 times the money, you're going to feel 2 times the pain.
Yeah.
So you can't say, if you're using 50%, you should use more than 50% margin. You're using based on your risk. That's what it is.
I totally agree. I don't know what the number is. My point is, I don't know what the number is. For me,
nobody knows what the number
figure that
is.
out prior to investing?
There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. The in-between is, if you want a free lunch, you can eat it 4 days of the week, but somebody's coming the 5th day, and they're going to take something from you.
Yeah.
And that thing they can take from you, it can be 10 times the amount, because margin equals double the gains, double the losses. So if you're okay with losing 1.1%, that means you use 10% margin.
I want to pause this. I think whoever makes an edit of this and does like the Star Wars ghost effect of like have like the blue aura around them, I will give them personally a Cash Flow Kings channel membership on my behalf.
By the way, I think percentages, it's too complicated for Khmer.
It absolutely is.
With the way margin magnifies the gains and losses. He's greedy and he thinks I'll have a lot more income.
This is literally like a scene from Star Wars of like somebody turning to the dark side and then like the old mentor coming back and being like, this is not the way.
Right. So
Your heart.
But you can tell that Kemmer really actually admires Kenny because he's.
Oh, I know.
And
Fear leads to the dark side.
This is like a disappointed parent.
We should get Kenny on the show.
Right, like I'd love to have Kenny on, but yeah, it seems like Kenny warned Kemmer like kind of when he started his journey, like, hey, don't go overboard with margin.
We watching more of this?
Yeah, there's a little bit more of it. I think it's like, dude, it's another grown man lecturing another grown man about investing.
That's meant. All right, we'll watch a couple more minutes of it.
Nobody has the correct answer. It's just what are you willing to take. This is the conversation we had the last time when me and you spoke, and that's why I stepped away, because you're going down a path where you're not really making it that people fully understand the risk of margin.
You're going down a path I can't follow, Anakin.
There's a risk of it, especially when the market changes like it's doing right now.
Well, that's
But I'm here. I just wanted to let you know, like, you got to look into it, because you're the leader of the group. And even though you say don't follow me, if you're the man in front, the people behind you are going to follow you. So if you're saying, hey, if you're not using 50% margin, don't use margin, there's people who are going to follow you and use 50%.
Well, what I come to the conclusion is that it's probably better if you just probably don't use any margin at all.
Finally.
We had a conversation before, Amir, and I said it to you that if you're using margin, you have to allow room in your account for the market to go up and down. It doesn't go up all the time. And the market moves down. So you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or Monday.
Somebody got open mic March 1022. You got open mic.
And there's tomorrow. We don't know where the market is going. And if you're on margin and if you don't have enough margin when the margin expands, you're in a margin call. And if you're using margin and you're going to margin call, you don't win. The broker wins because he's still getting his interest, and you have to put more money in there to pay more margin to pay more money. So as a group, I think everybody in this group needs to assess. If you don't understand margin, you should use margin, because there's a double-edged sword to it. And as I said, you as a man in the front, you have to fully understand. You can't say you don't know, because you're the man in the front saying you're using this much margin. You have to know everything about something, or at least 90%, before you're putting it out there that, hey, I'm using margin this and I'm using margin that, because these people are following you, man. You might not think they are, but I'm telling you they are. And I'm not saying you're failing them, but whatever they see you're doing, they're going to copy it, and they're in the same position. Somebody reached out to me and they say, hey, I need to come in here tonight to speak to you about the margin thing, because you've been using it a certain way, and I looked at it and I seen what it's doing. And you just have to assess your margin, because you should not be borrowing a certain amount of margin above that, because if the market turns, the market is...
That's enough. That's absolutely mint. That's just like somebody needs to make that a Star Wars scene.
But if Columbo goes in and asks him about it, the reason we know
how to use margin because we know how to use margin. because you don't know how to use margin. Well, don't put it on us. Don't even ask us question.
2024 quote of the year candidate.
But if anybody else had said that, they would have been instantly banned. So like he let Kenny on the platform talk and he listened, which is just rare, right?
Somebody reach out to Kenny on behalf of the Cash Flow Kings, and we offer an invite onto the show in 2 weeks. Somebody do that for us, please. That's absolutely. Oh my God, dude, Kenny's like a fucking Jedi. This is insane. We need to get this guy on.
I mean, it seems like everything Kenny was saying there seemed to make sense.
Yeah, Kenny, poor Ken.
And he's the one that supposedly taught Kamara. Like what was Kamara actually listening to?
He's like, oh, max margin?
Yeah. Kamara's final line would be the Darth Vader, I am what you made me.
So I did hear some disappointing news. Apparently, and this is just rumors that I heard, but in the Kemmer Discord, apparently Kemmer had a change of heart and then was attacking Kenny or something. And then I think Kenny apparently left the Discord now, so he's a free agent.
Oh, no. Okay, we'll get our agents on it immediately. Somebody needs to make a Star Wars edit out of that. Kamara gets like completely fucking raped this week. You know, Misty goes down like another 50%. Look, something horrible.
I mean, I hope we get another little pull back in the Bitcoin and the Misty or the MicroStrategy and all that, because he granted, I've heard that people say that he's just going through the stages of grief about what he's essentially like blown up his account.
Oh, I know. It's mint.
Like he has so much less total account value than what he started with, and because of the erosion in the yield max funds, he's very unlikely to gain it back.
It's too bad. Really,
and it won't overcome now because he has to pay Robinhood now interest on that margin, and it's on a melting ice cube. It's bad. Like he's in very bad shape.
Kamara's gonna be rock bottom. You know, his wife's gonna leave him. There's no like luxury. There's nothing left in his house or apartment, and like he's gonna see like a ghost of Kenny appear in the corner. It's like the ghost of Christmas past.
That episode of Fresh Prince.
Kenny, what you do?
This was just so unnecessary though, because like I'm pretty sure Kemmer gets his military pension, right? Like if he had just invested in like Standard SPY, Triple Qs, like he could have had a very solid life. You know, retire in Cambodia.
And military guys get the thrifty plan, which I think is similar to a 401k. He could have been putting money in that the whole time when he was in the service. And
yeah, the taxes thing too, Blake. That's like Fabio was really drilling that. Like that's probably gonna fuck him.
Well, here's another scary thing. Apparently, he's been investing for his family members as well into like yield funds. Like this man is gonna cause the GDP of Cambodia to go down with this like.
Cambodia GDP is going to have a 20%, 20-year decline. I'm so happy.
And it's a week we all knew what happened. Like, we all knew Misty MicroStrategy would eventually come down. Like, we didn't think it'd be this week, but, I mean, it's been a pretty sight to see, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely. Well, everybody, we are 1 hour, 40 minutes in. It's been an absolute pleasure. We went a little longer than anticipated, but
we delivered. Sometimes it's good when things are a little longer than anticipated, you know?
Yeah. So, Cody, where can the people find you for your guest appearance here at the end?
The people can find me at Citizen of the Year. I'm making many income ETF videos, many anti-Misty investing videos. If you actually want to see your portfolio balance go up, you know, I make those type of videos.
Never Ocean kept even give a flying fuck about that shit. I also forgot you were an episode 32 veteran. I was rewatching that today. I don't know why.
In fact, the Oracle hated him more than pretty much anybody else except maybe
he's like.
Well, apparently we all like the same ETFs now. There's the Curve ETFs, which have actually been doing pretty solid. Apparently we all have a mutual interest in them. So we're all on good terms now, I guess.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Thank you all for tuning in once again. Smash the like button.